When I get a tsunami of messages, all asking the same burning question, that's how I know it's time to make a Till We Make It. I'm Mike Quackenbush, and this is Till We Make It. If you are as passionate about the craft of professional wrestling as I am, then you have landed in the exact right place. What are you waiting for? Go ahead and join the Till We Make It tribe. Subscribe right now. I'm just back from Brazil, and I've noticed this pattern about my career. When I am traveling abroad, it is a real struggle for me to keep up with my email. And in fact, this has been a very travel-heavy month for me, and I feel like I have gotten further and further behind. And so last night, as I was waiting on a load of laundry, I started getting caught up on all the emails that have come in the previous weeks, and I noticed a new trend beginning to percolate up in the discourse because members of the Till We Make It tribe have been sending in messages all basically asking variations of the exact same question. And I want to address that question and share my opinion with you right now. That question is, should independent level professional wrestlers charge extra for their promos? In other words, should independent wrestling promotions be expected to pay an additional fee to the talent that they have already booked for an upcoming appearance or match if they are expecting a promotional message to be recorded in support of that event? All of professional wrestling is rife with ghost rules. Are you familiar with this term? I learned it myself from Todd Henry. Ghost rules aren't written down anywhere. They often go unspoken. Ghost rules are a set of traditions, expectations, and customs that grow over time in any given subculture. We may not know how they originated or what their original purpose was, but they are still part of how things are done. And in pro wrestling, if you bump up against one of these ghosts, if you break a ghost rule, you will certainly hear about it. And there is a ghost rule about bookings and promos you and I need to dissect. Just in case I happen to be wading into controversial waters with this, I want you to know this is just my opinion. I get to have my opinion, you get to have yours too. In fact, I'd love to hear your take on this. Leave it for me down below in the comments. But since I broke into professional wrestling, I can't say that I am aware of a single person who was ever paid extra to cut a promo. In other words, I'm not aware of a single performer who gets an additional fee on top of their booking fee for helping to promote their booking. This is a long-standing ghost rule of pro wrestling, that you will be expected to help promote your own appearances without any additional compensation. And I think that is a rule which is unlikely to change anytime soon. I think this is an important piece of context. Every member of the Till We Make It tribe who reached out to me about this topic works at the independent level of professional wrestling. And I think it's worth noting that so many of the ghost rules of independent wrestling, they were all forged long before the smartphone revolution took place. Things have changed. We all now have cameras in our pockets, but that definitely wasn't true when I was wrestling my first few matches. So the world is very different now, and the way that we live and work has changed too. Believe me, I know, creating great content isn't easy. Every time I want to make you a Till We Make It takes me about 15 minutes to set all of this up, make sure the lights are right. Then I got to jump up here, make sure I don't botch up everything I'm saying, or maybe a take gets ruined if the doorbell rings or something like that. I've got to do a whole nother one. After the fact, I edit, I post-produce. Yes, I do post-production on Till We Make It. Then I got to break all this stuff down, and that takes time too. So the reason you reached out to me about this is because you are spending so much of your time and so much of your energy to create promos and you're looking for additional compensation. Well, believe me, I feel you on that one. Creating great content isn't as simple as taking that post-pump gym selfie or participating in my newest pet peeve in all of pro wrestling, the I'm sitting in my car for this promo. Having said as much, here's my take. Your time is valuable. My time is valuable too. So I understand the instinct to want to be compensated if you're spending a lot of your time and a lot of your energy creating great content. But I think all of this boils down to a misunderstanding of one of those unwritten, unspoken ghost rules which is just understood within the wrestling culture. And that is, this work is part of the booking fee you ask for and negotiate for at the beginning of the process. And once you find agreement with a wrestling promotion, part of that agreement is to help promote your upcoming matches and appearances. That is a ghost rule of wrestling that I don't think is about to change. Now, if a wrestling organization is asking you to send in 6, 8, 10 promos, I think that is a bit exorbitant. And if that is the situation you find yourself in right now, I want to encourage you to deploy some diplomacy, some professionalism, and talk to them about going above and beyond to create this additional content and the price point at which you're willing to do it. And it's perfectly fine if you aren't, but you got to have a conversation about it. It's going to get you so much further than grousing about it on social media will. I think this is part of the job. Cutting a promo or two in support of your upcoming matches, that is what you've been hired to do, even if it wasn't explicitly stated. Ghost rules are not explicitly stated, and yet they are still rules. If you ever see yourself moving from the independent level of wrestling up to the corporate level of wrestling, you're going to have to cut great promos. So you might as well get your reps in right now. That's my point of view anyway. Practice, practice, practice. There are some of those corporate level players who won't even allow you to audition now unless you submit a promo as part of the application process. And why wouldn't you want to nail that? At the end of the day, every promotional message you put out there, whether it's seen by fans or seen by other people working in professional wrestling, it's an opportunity. An opportunity to sell them on you, your brand, your story, your character. You can make those promotional messages sell you. So unless you are just so tired of all the amazing opportunities you're being offered, of all these great fan interactions you're having to contend with, and sick of counting up all your wrestling money, my advice to you would be cut some promos.